theory was being considered for a long time, where they have put in a thought that these atavists are between the primitive and the modern human beings, and because of their physical features they act as and they are born criminals. But the biological theories of crime causation are based on the belief that criminals are physiologically different from non-criminals. The cause of crime could be the biological inferiority. According to various biological theories, a criminal's innate physiological makeup produces certain physical or genetic characteristics that distinguish criminals from non-criminals. Various researches have been done on the persons who shows criminal behavior, and the researchers have found that there are certain genes. The expression of those genes might inhibit the criminal activity in certain persons, but that is also not a single factor which define criminal behavior in a person. The criminal behavior in a person, as we have discussed, is because of the amalgamation of many factors including environmental, social, biological, behavioral, etc. After the Lombroso theory, which was on the defects in the eyes or the defects of the shape of the face or the long forehead, in the year 1949, he gave an advanced version of theory which was shared by Lombroso. He divided the personality of the persons of behavior into three parts. The idea that criminal behavior is linked to a person's physical form was shared by Lombroso, but Sheldon has taken it forward to another step. He believed that bodily build was linked to personality and temperament. If a person have a different build, then their temperament is also different. A heavily built person will have a temperament which is very angry, and the act of criminal behavior might be more in a person who has not a very heavy build. So, the Lombroso has given the atavist theory, which had large jaws, high cheekbones, large ears, extra toes or fingers, and they were insensitive to pain. Whereas, on the other hand, William Sheldon believed that people could be classified into three body shapes, which correspond with their different personality types, and he has distinguished between three basic types of bodily build: ectomorph, which are thin; endomorph, which have more fat; and mesomorph, which are more muscular. Ectomorphs were solitary and restrained, endomorphs were relaxed and hedonistic, and mesomorphs, as they are having more muscular mass, they are more energetic and adventurous. So, on the basis of somatotypes, the ectomorphs were classified as restrained, endomorphs were classified a bit relaxed, but the mesomorphs, who have more muscular mass, they were classified as being notorious, adventurous and more energetic. The endomorphs were fat and soft, and they tend to be very sociable and relaxed. The ectomorphs were thin and fragile and are introverted and restrained, and the mesomorphs, they have muscular and hard, and they tend to be aggressive and adventurous. So, Sheldon, on these basis, he said that the person who are showing criminal behavior, they lie more into the category of being mesomorphic. Their body type is hard, they are more muscular, and they tend to be very notorious, adventurous and aggressive, which is the reason that they show more criminal behavior or more criminal activity compared to the person which are endomorphic, and they are compared and they are considered as to be more society friendly and relaxed in their behavior, as well as the people who are thin and fragile, they keep themselves away from such activity and they are more introverted and restrained. So, his principal claim was that mesomorphs are more prone to criminal activity than the other two types, and there are number of other studies which have confirmed that there is a small association between the bodily build and criminality between two persons. Putwain and Sammons in the year 2002, Hart et al. In the year 1982, they have also conducted the research on the similar topics, and they have confirmed that the bodily build and criminality are being associated, which is again a carry forward version of Sheldon's theory given in the year 1900s. So, a mesomorphic person, why he is showing criminal behavior? The possible explanation is that a muscular build reflects high testosterone levels. These testosterone levels result in the higher levels of aggressiveness, and people react to mesomorphs in ways that increase their risk of criminal behavior. So, a person having more muscular mass will have the higher testosterone levels, and these hormonal levels will lead to the increased aggressive behavior, and because of this stereotype people hold about mesomorph, they may be drawn into delinquent activities by their peer groups. As we consider a simple case of peer group in mesomorph, if a group of friends, they are having more muscular people, having people who have mesomorph build, the other groups which have more ectomorph and endomorph build, they think that this person with having more muscular mass might be a person showing more criminal intention or more criminal activity. So, that stereotype or that criteria is being held in everyone's mind, that a person having more muscular mass will show more delinquent activities. Alternately, the judicial system may treat them more harshly, increasing the likelihood that they will officially be labeled as criminal. That was again given by Blackburn in 1993, that the body mass have no association with the criminal behavior and it is a result of multiple factors, but considering them and teasing them of criminal behavior on the basis of their build might result in the criminal activity from their side because of such treatment from the general public. Along with that, we have the science of endocrinology, which is the given study by Schlapp and Smith. They explain crime as the product of endocrine deficiencies or excesses or disturbances. We have our endocrine system, endocrine glands secrete certain hormones which are responsible for various activities in our body. So, these endocrine system sometimes release certain hormones in deficiencies and some hormones are released by excess from these glands. So, the disturbances in the levels of these hormones, some deficient hormones or some excess hormones may result in the criminal behavior of certain persons. Barnes and Shello in the year 1940 said that glands do affect personality, but crime cannot be related to functioning of glands alone. So, whenever we are studying any factors relating to criminal behavior or the crime, we should keep one thing in mind, that any single factor cannot be responsible for criminal behavior or criminal personality of a person. There are always certain multiple factors which are involved in the criminal behavior of a person. So, the atavist form theory, which was given by the anthropologist Lombroso in the year 1876, he started a tradition of physiological theories of criminality. He claimed that criminality was heritable. He suggested that there was distinct biological class of people who were prone to criminality. They were throwbacks who had biological characteristics from an earlier stage of human development and that manifest as a tendency to commit crimes. So, these people whom they have exhibit as atavists, they have such features where they could have the long forehead, the different shape of their face, long ears, long nose, heavily built body. So, he termed them as atavistic theory. But this theory have various drawbacks. He did not use any non-criminal control groups to establish whether the atavistic features he identified were confined to the criminal population or they are also found in the persons who does not show the criminal behavior or does not show the criminal activity. The second major drawback was his sample is likely to have contained a large number of people with physiological disorder and chromosomal abnormalities. So, he has not distinguished adequately between the criminality and the pathology. The third point was crime is neither a natural nor a homogeneous category of behavior. It is a social construction which makes the argument that criminal behavior as such is inherited hard to sustain. Also, our current understanding of genetic influences on behavior does not support the idea that complex behavior, like most criminal activities, are controlled by single genes. The genes, the genetics, the hereditary, they might have an impact over the criminal behavior, but the pure genetics and hereditary is not responsible for the intention or for the criminal behavior or committing of criminal activities by a person. Another hypothesis which was given was the extra Y hypothesis. This a slightly later physiological theory suggested that some crime might be attributes to a chromosomal abnormality. Sex is determined by the pattern of a person's sex chromosome. If XX occurs in a chromosome, it is a female and XY defines a male. So, basically females contains XX on their sex chromosome, but males contain XY on their sex chromosome. There could be an extra Y which is present in certain people, and this extra Y hypothesis states that this leads to criminal behavior in a person. Atypical chromosomal combinations can result in atypical sexual development. This extra Y is known as the Klinefelter syndrome, and the combination results in a male form with some female characteristics. Since an extra X appears to feminize men, some theorists speculated that an additional Y chromosome might hypermasculine men who had it, thus results in the extra testosterone level. Since men are more aggressive than women, it might be that men who have extra Y chromosomes, they are more aggressive and other men hence more likely to commit more violent crimes. Prolific offenders such as the American serial killer Arthur Shawcross, he had the XYY pattern. It was eventually established by Howitt in the year 2009 that XYY men are rare in the general population and they are more common in the offender population. This extra Y hypothesis, whilst as expected, the problem is that XYY men tend to commit non-violent crime, not violent crime as the XYY hypothesis predicts. The testosterone level amongst the XYY men are no different from XY men and they are no more aggressive than the general population. However, substantially, the increased risk of developmental delay and learning difficulties, which was kept forth by the Graham et al. In the year 2007, that due to the excessive hormone release, excessive testosterone level, due to certain learning difficulties, there could be an association between the learning difficulties and the criminal behavior of a person. So, in a nutshell, if we look at the factors about the bodily type, about the Sheldon's theory, the extra Y hypothesis, All these factors or the genes, they might contribute to the extra criminal behavior in a person, but it also includes the various environmental factors which are associated, or the development or the peer group factors when a person was in his adulthood or the young self. Holland, in the year 1992, he also taken IQ test, and the IQ scores amongst the convicted offenders are marginally lower than the general population. So, the offenders might inhibit a lower IQ compared to the general population, but there is a slightly higher prevalence of mild learning difficulties amongst the offender groups. Hence, the number of XYY men in the offender population is a consequence of the learning difficulties associated with the condition. Thus, it is important to know that no single theory is universally accepted or able to explain all types of crime. The complexity of human behavior and the multitude of factors at play makes a singular explanation unlikely. Therefore, a multidisciplinary approach that considers various theories and factors is necessary for a comprehensive understanding of crime. Ultimately, the study of theories of crime contributes to the development of effective crime prevention and intervention strategies. By identifying the root cause of criminal behavior, society can work towards addressing these causes and creating environments that promote positive behaviors and discourage criminal activity. Thank you.